Hello everyone, it's Nadia, and today we're going to talk about how to start learning a language, like what to do exactly. And we're going to talk about concrete stuff. Basically, many people struggle to know where to start exactly. Like there's so much content online about learning languages, but at the same time, you don't know where exactly you need to begin. So today I will share an exercise that is very useful, and it's mostly something that you should do at the beginning of your journey, because at the beginning you know absolutely zero in that language. So the first important thing is basically to listen to a lot of content in that language, in your target language. So if, for example, you're learning Spanish, you need to listen to Spanish every day. Even if it's like 5 to 10 minutes, if you can listen songs in Spanish or shows, this kind of things, it's very important that you build that hearing capacity in that language, so you recognize the sound of that language. Now, what we're talking about today is basically what kind of content you should listen to and what to do at the beginning. So for me, it's very important that you listen to content at the beginning where it's like basic or content that you will basically use in your daily life, in the sense of you need to watch content where people are talking about their routines, about what kind of person they want to be, or what kind of job or studies are they doing in that target language, because you need to build the most used vocabulary that you will use in your daily life. And in this sense, there is like different categories that you need to start with. For me, the first one is basically talking about yourself. Talking about yourself englobes like a lot of different stuff. And I would say the three main points is basically first, your routine daily schedule. So it's very important that you know how to talk about what you're doing in your daily life. So for example, if someone asks you, how is your day-to-day routine? Like, what are you doing every day that is happening like during the week or the weekend? So for example, I would say, well, in the morning, I wake up like maybe around 8, I can eat some breakfast, and then I'm going to work. I eat my lunch at this restaurant, and then after work, I love to do ta 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 ta. It's very important that you listen to content that talks about this kind of stuff. Then the second category is knowing how to talk about what you like and what you dislike. Like it's really basic, like children basically. And for example, if you really don't like running, then it's nice to say it in Spanish. No me gusta correr. I don't like running. This kind of stuff. And the more you build that, the more you will learn the vocabulary around the stuff that's like basically is your stuff. So it's your categories based on your own personality. And so if you listen to that kind of content, for example in YouTube, and you research like different interviews of people, like I don't know, like there are so many videos on YouTube about what it's like to be a Spaniard in Spain, or like a Latino in Spain, what do they do in Spain, like it's very important that you listen to this kind of stuff. And then the third category is what are you doing in life in terms of work or studies. So if someone asks you, what do you do in life? You would like to be able to answer to this kind of question, because it's something that you will answer basically forever in our society. So you want to listen to content, podcast, interviews, whatever, or even TV show dialogues where they're doing this, where they're answering this kind of questions. And for that, YouTube is your friend, Google is your friend. There are so many books as well, but I would recommend more the listening part, because it builds your ear and also how to pronounce words. Because if you start reading from the beginning, you don't have you don't have the language in your brain to be able to read it as a native or as a person learning Spanish, because you will basically try to read the language with your English accent, and it's the worst that you can do. Like having an accent and having a wrong pronunciation, it's completely different. Like, for example, I'm talking to you in English, I have a French accent, but I'm trying to at least respect the language, because if I speak with the French accent, it's not something really pretty, don't you think? And I don't want you to do the same in Spanish. So so basically it's the first important thing. And then what people are underestimating and always forgetting is to know the connectors in that language. Like when we talk, we're always thinking about what we're going to say, or doubting, hesitating, and you need to be able to recognize the small words to make it natural in that language. So, for example, I'm just saying so in English, like so, and then I'm thinking, you need to be able to have the same in Spanish or in any language that you're learning, because it's what makes it like not robotic. What people are missing when they're learning is this, like especially in textbook, it's the worst, because they have like this kind of dialogue, but it's like robotic dialogue. It's not very natural. So you need to have this kind of connectors and the interaction basically between the person you're talking to and then your brain. So I would recommend to do two things. Every time you're listening to content in that language, even if you don't understand, try to be aware of that. Like, when is the person hesitating, thinking, and what do they do? Like, what do they say? For example, in English, like even the specific sounds, like in English, there is like the this kind of things, you know, it's like so there is the word and the sound. For example, in Spanish, it's different. When they're hesitating, they say and in French they say it's, you see, it's very different, and that's why people notice if you're a foreigner or not. Like, if you want to talk naturally, try to adopt this kind of sounds. So I would recommend to make a list of all the connectors that you use yourself when you talk in your native language. So for example, I use in English so, and, but, besides, well, this kind of stuff, and try to recognize them in the content that you're learning in Spanish, but also try to research them, like every time. Like, there are so many lists of connectors that people use, and then from knowing that list and then trying to recognize them in the content you're listening, you will basically learn it, like listening to it a lot, and you will start to recognizing them everywhere, like literally everywhere, besides the common vocabulary that people use. And so it's very important that you have that. Then, depending on your objective in that target language, like what do you want to do? Like, do you want to be able to speak fluently that language, or do you want to only use it in because you're traveling to that country? In that case, the objective is different. And what I said until now, it's basically to learn that language, like fluently. But if you're only for traveling, just focus all your content and basic sentences for that traveling phase. So you would watch content about, okay, how do I ask, where should I go for da 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 da? Where should I go to see da 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 da? How much is this? Knowing a bit the numbers, what is the price? What is the place? How can you help me? This kind of stuff. Can you bring the bill, please? It's very important that you know this kind of stuff when traveling. So I would recommend to just orient yourself to learn that kind of vocabulary. And so yeah, that was it for today, the tips of the day, and I hope it's very helpful, and I hope that your journey about learning that language is very good. Learning a language is basically all about consistency and being like logical about the way you're learning the language, like what I said, like learning the common words. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be that difficult. Like just listening to 10 to 15 minutes a day of Spanish, if it's the language you're learning, or any languages, it's already something, and you're basically creating the neurons in that language, you know? And so don't give up, continue to learn that language, and see you next time for other tips.